Patrick and Billy. I'll start with hello, hello. Or is it a hail, hail? So, you know, this speech comes with some viewer discretions, and as the more I think about it, the more I look around the room and I see young children, I just want to run into the car and get on the road. I did clear some of the content with respectful fathers and mothers. It does include some swear words, but so does Jamie's, so I feel like right, so let's get going. So, good evening, good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Stephen. I'm one of the best men. If this speech turns out to be a bit shitty or results in a divorce, then just call me Colin. Because he's the other best man and he's sitting there hiding. I can assure you he's definitely been part of the thought process putting into this. But I think this wasn't part of the speech initially, but I just thought walking in here, I just thought, how amazing has this turned out? Seriously, I mean, the effort, the way it looks, you just never ever know you get somebody's backyard. It's absolutely fantastic, you've done a great job, the two of you, put it together. Shit, here we go. Right, so I'm sure you're well versed in how these speeches go. I'm just delighted after a significant amount of personal abuse over the years, I get the opportunity to stand here and reflect on Jamie's life. But before we go any further, on behalf of myself, Colin and all of Jamie's close friends, can we start by congratulating the new Mr. and Mrs. Davis? You're still smiling, you won't be in a minute. Claire, just to say, you look absolutely stunning today. Just watching you and Jamie walk down the aisle brought the biggest smile to all our faces. And finally, after what has been a truly horrific few years for you both, you got to tie the knot with the man you love. And I'm sure your dad was with you all the way, beaming down with pride. Of course, we'll extend that compliment to the bridesmen and groomsmen as well. And also a special mention to young Patrick, who means the world to Jamie and Claire, and has proudly shown off his new suit. I thought it was a bit of a mission to get one. And lastly to Jamie, who stands here today looking the part and finally managed to have a shower and turn up with very little drama. He has, however, promised me £100 to lose that envelope I got from the fella at the chapel. So I'll do my very best, because I could be doing with that, to be honest. Now for some housekeeping. So there's 4 toilets in this house. I know that might blow you away, but that's the joys of staying in Uddingston and having lots of money. If you are struggling, well, aye, exactly. If you are struggling, you can take a piss in the corner up there, you know. Jamie's erected a tent round the corner. He's quite fond of drinking pee, so he's left you a few empty pint glasses as well. I suppose that's a good cue to start to reflect on some of Jamie's classical moments over the years. So let's begin with the time we went to Murrayfield to see Oasis. Now, Jamie has a thing about setting himself some objectives during such events. So you can't just go there and enjoy it, you know, it's got to be something in his head. So, you know, whether that be sneaking backstage, the VIP, hustling free drinks at the bar, or just generally being a prick. I'm really sorry to the mothers and fathers of your children, honestly. Sorry. Nothing ever seems to faze Jamie, he just seems to get on with it. So as we waded through the crowds, he starts indicating his desire to go to the toilet. Oh, for God's sake, mate, we've just managed to reach the front. It's taking us ages. So as the minutes passed, he adopts his usual strapline. I'll be alright. Okay, I can hold it in, it's totally fine. Now for those of you who are close to Jamie, you'll be very familiar with his favourite "it'll be alright" saying. So a few seconds pass, and I notice that steam starts emerging from the front of him. So Jamie's whipped out the wee man, hands in the air, nonchalant, and starts peeing over the guy in front of him. So the boy's like, he turns in and Jamie's, he's off. He's shimmying away. You know, I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah, fuck it, I'll go right. That's all I hear from him. Week in. That's page 105. So fast forward to Ibiza 2008, the year of the bus crash. So we stayed round the bay, you know, because we thought we'd have a bit of money that year. So we thought we'll go and we'll do the 18 to 30 hotel. And we were out for a night out. We go for a short walk back to the hotel. It was always required for any normal group of friends. But of course, Jamie suggested we take a swim in the sea. So we get about midpoint, and he just stops, congregates, he's looking about. And I'm like, does he need help? There's something wrong with him? Can he no float or swim? None of these options. So a few seconds passes, he has this look in his face. But you'll know exactly what I mean. It's the one he does when he's farted, right? And then denies it. What does it mean? He's looking about. Sheer terror. Drops. So next minute, all these bubbles start to come up. And it kicks the biggest shit you'll ever see in your life. He's just laughing and picking it up. I think it's hilarious. That's exactly what you've married. So keeping in with the theme of that area of his body, Jamie enjoys a wee scrape and poke his bum now and then. His claim to fame is that his body washes itself. Now he's got a very entrepreneurial mindset, and he once claimed to have created a technique that would assist one's problem when experiencing accumulation of arse sweat and chode. So chode is a flexible term, you can apply it to anything that provides a bit of discomfort. So for a very logical descriptive name, he called it the condomy.
It's actually down in it invented that.
So it's when you wrap your finger around some sort of toilet roll or material, and then you scoop out the residue. Anyway. So the idea, you're worried. Because you're probably thinking, have I found a few discarded condomies during the thing? Oh, you haven't? They were Jamie's wanking socks. That's as worse as it gets. Moving on from your childhood, full of memories and stories, the only reason they exist today is due to all their friends and how close we are, creating a group of pals that I genuinely believe are the best. Within that group, we have key contributors like Jamie, who just does things that nobody else would even think of. We used to frequent Strathclyde Park, and he just disappeared one time, nobody could find him. Then he reappears at the top of the roller coaster, which he'd climbed up, was hanging off like an orangutan. And then just, that's just Jamie, that's just what he does. In our younger days, he didn't ever believe in getting a taxi. We would often go to Scoosh, up to the Palace. And there's times we all struggled to walk after a night out, but Jamie would always find a way to finish his night off with a party trick. So here he was, in Motherwell, laying in wait at the side of the road, trying to figure out his method of transport home. So the big winding corner, a lorry approaches, Jamie would hop on the back, hold on, and get a free lift up the road. Does your mum know about that one? So the key parts of constructing a speech is to try and balance the compliments with the embarrassing situations, and I'm sure we could stand here and entertain you all night with some of Jamie's truly incredible events. But probably the most important part of this journey is how he's become the man he is today. So, I think I made this bit up, but you were born in Bellsill. So born in Bellsill to parents Irene and Billy, he grew up in Stevenson. Did you go to NS Primary?
Yep.
Good. He went on to establish himself as a Stevenson boy. He stayed in Sycamore Place in Muirhill and he went to Brannock, which is where we met for the first time as friends. He was an only child, which now I understand. And he grew up with some great friends like Roebuck, Meakin, Downey. I think he might even have hung about with Peggy Lyle at some point. Now, none of them made the best man cut, so they couldn't have been very good. He used to store his wages in a massive Coca-Cola bottle in his room, even figured out how to offload the Sunday shift if he'd been out the night before. Quite remarkable at such an age. I need a drink, it's awfully dry here. There are people still sweating over that previous story. I'm really sorry. I didn't want to put it in, I was forced.
It could have been a lot worse.
You didn't give me much to want me. Now on to the Portugal golf trip. So we decided to call this, it was like an unofficial stag for Jamie and Stocco. And he thought it would be a great idea to buy 2 litre of vodka with Downey from the duty free. What a deal that is, he called it. So him and Dowser proceeded to rattle a full litre bottle on the flight to Portugal. Then the fun and games started when Jamie decided that in order to get around the drinking of your own alcohol ban, he was just going to buy endless amounts of cans of Sprite and just not say anything. The problem for Jamie was that you need quite a few cans to get through a litre of vodka. So after the flight attendant started to click on, Jamie went to plan B. Just pour triples, it'll be fine. To Downey's horror, he reluctantly accepted. To Jamie's astonishment, after claiming that the male air hostess fancied him. He absolutely did. An hour later, they were banned from buying any more cans, they were moved from their seat, and they were told that they were a hazard to the safety of other passengers. They were threatened with the removal of their passports, asked to square themselves up. Did that. You were.
Can't remember that.
So Downey proceeded to spew all over his seat, what can only be described as a sloth. In order for Davis to enact a key deflection tactic, he just grassed him up, then ran off the plane. Talking about work, it's fair to say he's one of the best work ethics of anyone I've ever met in my life. He works offshore and has done ever since he left school. Rarely does Jamie ever miss a shift, which is a true example of the person he is today. The three most important things to him is his life, are his friends, his family, and his new wife Claire. Two pages to redeem myself. So let's have a look at Jamie's weaknesses. He's unreliable, which is rich coming from me. But not in a work ethic sense, but in terms of his ownership. So before teeing the park one year, he was given a very expensive tent belonging to his friend's dad. Gets there, sets it up, a few days pass, no issues. Then the can't be arsed Jamie kicked in. Before you know it, the dreaded phone call arrives. Klaus, see that tent I gave you? I might have left it at teeing the park. What do you mean you've left it at teeing the park? You talk about mate, nobody brings a tent back for teeing the park. Not even an apology. He just treated it like he left somebody's jacket and just walked away. The same thing happened at Piper Dam. I brought my DJ speaker to accommodate Jamie's request for something that would get the tunes going. Standard Steph behaviour to leave these events early, as I did. Then comes a phone call. Steph, see that speaker? How much was it? I still don't know where it is. Jamie's weakness number 2, he's absolutely clatty. In the back of a taxi going to a Rangers game once, he's also been to a Celtic game, so that balances out. He felt the need to carry out a condomy, but this time he didn't have any toilet roll or any tissue, so instead he used his finger, scrapes out the residue and sticks it up my nose. I can still smell it to this day. So let's have a look at these strengths. So Jamie, he's very courageous. He has balls of steel, to be honest. But whether that's trying to jump from a house rooftop, jumping out of an aeroplane or doing a bungee, he just doesn't seem to fear much in life. He has a fantastic, great sense of humour. Always the life and soul of the party, always cracking jokes, always keeps the banter flowing. So much so that he planted a fake crime scene in his mum's house under the stairs. Number 3, he's very resilient. Even in the face of adversity, he's the strongest of hearts and the ability to deal with problems head on. He's always got a smile on his face, whilst looking out for the ones he loves the most. I would go as far as saying that's one of his greatest strengths. Relevant. Jamie and Claire have a lot in common. They have a keen love for music, friendship and family. They both share a particular sense of humour and are both very house proud and enjoy being surrounded by the ones they love the most. Family has always been their number one priority. This journey has been remarkable, and finally to see it all come together for them to tie the knot today is such a great moment for them both, but also for everybody else in this room today. For some, life is often misunderstood. Let's get on here. Throws things at you don't quite understand or expect. and whether that be daily challenges with work or family, in some instances it's very overwhelming.
Too much there. You give me the first to cry.
Plenty Stoko. The overwhelming feeling of heartache and pain due to the loss of family or friends can be very difficult to comprehend. It's of no secret to anyone in this room that Jamie and Claire have the toughest of times over the last few years, to which the key to that survival has been their close bond together and the support and love of their family behind them. If anyone in this room deserves some happiness, it's Claire and Jamie. So Colin and I thought very long and hard about how the best way to finish this speech. Now, should it be humorous or funny? Is there a story we could tell that would show the genuine person Jamie is? Now, I didn't think him taking shit in the ocean. Well, but he found a way to clean his bum with his finger. Instead, it got me thinking of the time I managed to tap into his caring and sensitive side, something Jamie often keeps close to his chest. And the one thing that stuck out for us both was the bond he has with his mum Irene. And after the sad passing of our Billy, the way in which he had adapted to this is a true testament of the man he is today. I recall having a conversation with him about surprising his mum with a skydive in Dubai. He had it all planned out to perfection, even came up with a plan to get Irene to change her stylish outfit at the very last minute. We got onto the subject of why he'd picked such an excursion, and he said to me, and I quote, "I just want to help her get some confidence back." I just want her to realise she can get through this when she's on her own, and to put a smile back on her face. And that's why Jamie is one of our best mates, and why we know, Claire, that you're in very good hands. Okay, so we'll finish off this with a story Jamie has left us. When Jamie told me, it left a smile on my face. It reminded me of how much he's so much like his dad. They were in many ways the perfect father and son. With a bond so strong, nothing could ever break that. They share the same type of humour, same type of approach to life, and the way they love to spend time with their family. So when Billy and Irene were moving house, and they were looking at buying Sycamore Place, they were going through each of the rooms. So Irene turns to Billy and says, "Billy, this house is lovely. There's 3 toilets in here. Does that mean we're going to use more toilet roll?" To which Billy responds, "No, Irene, we've only got 2 hours." That aid in the body was not the purpose of the speech, by the way, but it seems to be keeps neglecting it. So Jamie, it goes without saying that for me and Colin to be standing here today is by far one of the proudest moments in our long friendship. We are honoured that you asked us to be part of today, or as you put it, this bloody wedding. We love and respect you, and we really appreciate being part of this journey. We are always here for you, and we thank you for being there for us throughout our friendships. Now, whether that be the good times or the dark times, we miss and love your dad every day. He was such an influential figure in your life and all of our lives, and we miss him greatly. As the saying goes, as brothers, we don't each let other walk alone in the dark. Now, on behalf of myself and Colin, we would like to dedicate this speech and pose a toast to the Quint and Davis family for their incredible resilience over the last few years. And we would also like to remind them to remember there's always light behind the clouds. That's me. Over to you now.